Hello and welcome to Home Business Specialist Program. My name is Eddie and I have in the studio with me today
Bola. Good evening.
Together we bring on board years of experience of running a home-based business. And I am the author of a very fast-selling book, Breaking Your Glass Ceiling. And that will be breakingyourglassceiling.com. But today, in the past few weeks, we have been looking at how to start a home business. And we believe at Home Business Specialist that a home business is a very good cure to the recession. And so people are always asking us to show them, teach them, mentor them on how to start something new from home. We've had the privilege of growing quite a few businesses from home, and they're doing quite well. And so we have decided together, my co-presenter, who also happens to be my wife, to put together this program that will be a great benefit to all our proteges and people out there who are looking to starting a home-based business. Today we are going to be talking about 12 things to consider in choosing a home-based business. And last week, let me just bring you up to speed with what we covered last week. Last week we covered what is the difference between a home business owner and an entrepreneur. And what is the difference between a home worker and working from home? And we looked at the various things to take into consideration when you are looking into a home business. We've also covered in the past episodes, we have covered the things to look out for when you are starting a home-based business. And we also covered all the things that we're going to be looking at in this session.
Yeah, and today in particular, we're looking at how to choose a home-based business. There are very many home-based businesses out there, and it could get very confusing to know exactly where to start from. So we just thought it would be nice and easier if we handhold you to choose exactly the home-based business you will want to go into. Today, like Eddie said earlier, we're going to be going through 12 things you need to look out for while choosing a home-based business. As against traditional businesses, the new model of a home-based business gives you the opportunity that the traditional businesses have never given in the past. We spoke about that the last episode as well. However, this time around, we're going to be looking into how exactly do you take advantage of these opportunities. So I'll pass you over to Eddie to start off, and then we'll give you live examples as well that you can use.
Absolutely. We have today, we're going to be covering 12 things to consider in choosing a home-based business. And one of the first things we have from experience, we believe from experience, is for you to choose a good company, a company that is professionally and ethically sound. Make sure it's a good company. Make sure it's professionally and ethically sound. I will give you an example. One of the home businesses which we ran a few months, or quite a few years ago now, where we were running this home-based business, and we had to source leads from a company based in Australia. Now, unknown to me, this particular leads company happened to source their leads from using unprofessional means. And so our organization decided to stop using that particular company. So you will find that there are so many companies out there offering home-based businesses, but they do not have very sound professional and ethical background or factors. So you make sure that company is a good company if they follow professional and ethical standards. Yeah.
Very true. The second one I thought we need to talk about is the issue of the ideals of the organization you are looking into. Do their ideals fit into your own personal belief? We all have different beliefs, and we have ideals that guide the way we behave and guide the things we believe in. A while ago, again, just similar to what Eddie said earlier, we were looking into a particular home business. We loved the idea of the home business. We loved what they stood for as it looked on the surface. And then we thought, okay, let's participate in one of their weekly trainings. And at the weekly training, there was something that was mentioned that was totally against our own beliefs. And at that point, we told ourselves, no, this is not for us. So if you are looking into a home-based business, be very sure that the ideals of the business, every business has ideals that drives them. And that ideal probably comes from either the owner of the original franchise or business or people that have, come together to start the business. Make sure the ideal suits you. If the ideal doesn't suit you, you cannot perform in an organization like that, nor can you defend it to your friends and family. You don't want to do that.
Interesting. Very, very correct. Make sure the ideals fit. Another example that came to mind was, I remember a few years ago, I was training and trying to get my certification on life coaching. And one of the principles of life coaching, or one of the things they recommend for coaches in life during a life coach program is what is known as NLP, which is a neuro-linguistic programming. Yeah. And that in itself was just totally against my what I believe and against my faith. So that particular part of that training program did not quite sit with what I believe. So we want to make sure that the ideals of this business, of your home-based business, sits very well with your personal and core belief system. Another thing we want to talk about is the financial benefit. And I know this is a financial benefit. Make sure that the financial benefit of any home business you choose to go into is worth the trouble. Make sure it's worth the trouble. Look at the compensation plan, the compensation program, the compensation plan. Make sure it's worth the trouble. So consider the financial benefit. Yeah,
very true. I would agree with Eddie on that. If anything, one of the reasons why most of us tend to go into home-based businesses is for the finances. And as Eddie is always saying during the course of our program, we are here to help you to increase your impact, to increase your income is one of the 3 reasons why we are here to help you. So if the business is not going to increase your income, don't bother wasting your time on it. Another one is return on investment, not just financial investment. As good as financial investment is, if you're putting down £1, you need to be sure when you get your £1 back plus more. So if you're not sure of it, I would suggest that that particular business is probably not for you. Another investment is investment of time. Are you going to be able to put in the time required, and how long will it take for you to begin to make, profit out of this business, to begin to grow the business to the point that it can either run itself or you can run it with your eyes closed? The last thing you want to do is to invest your time into a business that will need you to run it 24/7. So you've got to sit down properly and ask yourself, am I going to be better off running this business or worse off? Many of us started out with organizations and we work, and we spend 2 long hours trying to work for these employers. The last thing you want to do is to find yourself in a home-based business and back to the same rat race again, just going round in circles. So be very careful with returns on investment. This business will yield to me the amount of investments that I've put into it plus more, even if I don't have all the hours in the day to spend on it or all the money in the world to spend on it, Eddie.
Talking about returns on investment, this also brings me to a very complex matter, maybe not too complex depending on your background, is the issue of a break-even point. So how long will it take you to recover how much you've put in? And then when you're talking about how much you have put in, if we are looking at returns on investment, it's not just how much you bought your package for or how much you bought your products for. You also have to look at how much you spend on marketing the product. You have to look at how much you spent on transportation, how much you spent on things altogether to bring you that forms the total capital base of your involvement in that business. So when we're talking about returns on investment, we want to look at how long also will it take you to recover your total cost of involvement. And then how many products do you have to sell for you to recoup that investment, and how long does it take in terms of average time does it take for people who are just coming in to break even and start having returns on investment. Another thing we want to talk about, which is the 6th thing we want to talk about is the fees to join. All right. The fee. Sometimes we find that most organizations will ask you, tell you, yes, we want to invest X amount of money into the business, but we also have a joining fee. Sometimes you also have what they call a recurring fee. In other words, just for your involvement, apart from your capital, there are recurrent charges that goes against your bank account every month. And so you want to look at the fees, the joining fees of your home-based business. Now, when joining a home-based business, some organizations from experience may be silent on the joining fee, or they make the joining fee so minimal. Now, the reason why the joining fee is minimal is because they intend to collect those joining fee over a period of time. So don't just look at the cost of buying your package or acquiring a package, for example. Find out if there are other joining fees you have to pay, or also find out if those joining fees are one-off or recurring.
Absolutely. There could be hidden costs that you're not quite aware of, is what Eddie is saying, so be very careful about that. Also, there are organizations that give you the opportunity to either pay at once or pay over a period of time. For some of you that want to start a home-based business, some of us want the opportunity to pay over a period of time. Find out if the organization that you're about to join gives that facility, if that is what you're looking for, or do you have to pay it all at once? Because then it determines whether you have to go and get a loan or go to family and friends and so on and so forth. And later on during the course of this series, we're going to talk about how to finance your business as well. So that's another thing you need to be very careful of. The next one is the lasting power of the business. How long has this business been going on? And how long will it go on? We can check history of every single organization today, because by the power of the internet, you've got information at your fingertip. How long has this particular business been going on? Now, if it is not a tried and tested home-based business scheme, I would suggest to you that you either wait a bit or face something totally different. Because sometimes some of these organizations come, collect your money, and then they go bust. And then you get stung. And that's the problem that a lot of people have. You don't want, you got this problem because you say, oh, all home-based businesses are fake because so-and-so went into it and the organization went bust afterwards. So I want to encourage you to take time to find out how long that business has been going before you invest your money in it. Also, what do people say about it? That's a very important thing to think about, Eddie.
Yeah, you want to find out how, the lasting power of the business, how long it's been going on. Find out who the founders of the business are. I mean, so the very first place to start out when you are looking at the lasting power of the business or how long they've been going on is find out who the founders of the business, of this particular line of business is. Are they still alive? How long have they been going on? Again, you also want to find out, do they have board of directors? So find out the history of the board of directors. So one tip is that if you find that there's a member, there's one particular line of business we looked at, and we found out that a particular member of the board has been hopping from one board to the other. And so it's been moving from one home business board to another. And so that gave us cause for concern. So look at the executive board of your home-based business and see if there is any sort of migration from existing boards or previous boards or other previous home businesses to the one you are thinking of going into. So because you may find that, especially in when you look at people who in their multiple level marketing, you find that it's very easy to for the pyramid structure to collapse, and then before you know it, a new one comes up. And what you then find is that people just, because it's network marketing, people just connect with their friends and family or connect with people that they know, and then they form a new one. So you want to find out, because one question you want to ask yourself is, in 7 years' time, will I still be doing this business? Or have these people been doing this business for the past 7 years? So do a 7 years test, look at the owners of the business, and then also look at the board, the executive board and the management board of your proposed home-based business. And then the next thing we want to mention is that the reputation with customers. The reputation with customers. What are the existing customers saying about this particular home-based business, not what are the members of the business saying. So the end users of this product, what are they saying about the business? And so find out the reputation with customers regarding the home-based business you are thinking of going into.
Yeah, like I said earlier, information is always at your fingertip if you care enough to look for it. A product that has negative reviews by the users will not go very, very far. It'll be very difficult for you to sell. It'll be very difficult to convince people to buy. Do you know why? Because people go on the internet to search for the reviews about that same product. So it doesn't matter whether it's £1 or £200. It really doesn't matter the value of the product. If the customers are not satisfied, number one, they put it down that they're not satisfied. Number two, they will never come back. Now, the bulk of our business, any business at all, particularly home-based businesses, is done for repeat customers. If they are pleased, they will always come back. And guess what? If they are pleased, they will tell somebody else as well. So if that is the case and that is the way that model works, you need to be very, very sure that people are happy with the product of the franchise or the home-based business you're going into. It's not just good enough to look at the compensation scheme without looking at the product. Also, for your own, for your own joy, you don't want to sell something to people that they are not happy about. You don't want to sell something to people that they wish they never came across you. For your own conscience, you want to be sure that it's a product that has good feedback from customers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We want to look another thing to consider in choosing a home-based business, just to bring you up to speed. This is, if this is your first time of tuning into this station, this is Home Business Specialist Program. My wife and I, we are co-presenters in this program. We have run several home businesses. It's very interesting. Very few years ago, actually 1997, I migrated from Cyprus into United Kingdom to join my wife. She was unemployed, and my first job in UK was a traffic warden. And then instantly I knew I was living in one end of town and I was working in another end of town. So I had time during the early days to see people walk their dogs 9 o'clock in the morning when I was living in an area that needed development. And so this was way back in 1997. And instantly I told myself, if I have to make it in this nation, I have to find something to do. I have to find a way of boosting my income, and that is how the concept of home-based business came to my mind. And we ran our first home-based business in 1997, and between 1997 and now, 2011, we've run over 10 home-based businesses successfully, I must say. And so people are constantly asking us to recommend one home-based business or the other, asking us to coach and mentor them on various things to do in growing their home-based business. And so we have decided to, share our lives with you. And this program is designed to increase your influence, increase your impact, and increase your income through home-based business. If you want to know more about this program, send us an email. If there's anything that resonates with you in this program and you want to know more, send us an email at eddie@eddieandbola.com. eddie@eddieandbola.com. So bringing you up, giving you some sort of revision, we are looking at 12 things to consider in choosing a home-based business. And we've said a good company, make sure the ideals fit, look at the financial benefit, look at returns on investment, look at the fees to join or hidden fees, look at the lasting power of the business, look at the reputation with the customers, and also the next thing is the product use, and make sure the product is something that you can use and recommend. Make sure it's a product that you can consume yourself and recommend. If you cannot use the product yourself, or you are not comfortable with what the product stands for, then there is no point going into that line of business as a home-based business. Very true, actually, because when you know a product and you have used the product and it works, there is a passion with which you talk about the product that you don't have if you don't know the product. The worst thing that could ever happen to someone is to try to sell something that you have never used or that you will never use. If it's something you've used
or that you can use, and you have a testimony because you know I use this and it works. E.g., or for example, you sell healthy living products. So something about health, because you believe that you need to live healthy. So you use it because you use it. Say, for instance, you use some vitamins, and it makes you feel stronger. You're more agile. You can move faster. You can do more things. It will be very easy for you to say, well, buy these vitamins. It works. I tried it. It's full of natural products. It works because this is what it did for me. So if you have a story to tell for yourself, it makes it very, very easy to sell and to recommend your business to other people. Plus, people look at you. They see. I can tell if somebody is telling me a red story or they're telling me their experience. People want to buy into your experience. So if it is good, you get more people interested in it. Make sure it's a product that you have used and you can use and that you are still using.
All right, absolutely. The next thing we want to talk about is the systems. Make sure that the systems of the home-based business, make sure that they are robust. When we talk about systems, we talk about things like they have a great website, they have what we call autoresponders, we have what they call databases, they have telephone systems, they have conference bridge systems, they have video recording systems. So make sure that they have systems in place to support your home-based business. And so these systems will help you get involved in your marketing later on. So these are the things that you need to also look at systems. Make sure that the systems are robust enough. Originally I have an IT background, and there was one particular line of business we were looking into, a home-based business, and then I was still trying to figure out if we should go for it or not until I was giving them the username and password to their database system. And the moment I saw their database system, because I had an IT background, I knew instantly how much they would have invested to have such depth or such system in terms of their database. So just on the back of their database alone, we went for that particular line of business. Why? Because of the system they had in place. And so make sure you look at their system. Make sure that the systems are very robust. Make sure that their email systems are robust. Their autoresponder system are robust. Their contact management systems are robust. Website is very, very robust. And it's not just robust, make sure it's also current because these things, they change every now and then.
Yeah, very true. Make sure, like Eddie said, that the systems are current. The last thing you want to do is to start doing everything manually by yourself. One of our businesses, we still get people say, thank you for sending me that email to say, how are you doing on your business? Now, we didn't physically send the email, but there is a system sending the email when you're sleeping. That's the idea. The last thing you want to do is to spend so much energy trying to do things manually. That is the point of buying into a home-based business. So ensure that that is important, that you should ensure that the company you're looking into have a very good system. Another one is make sure the compensation scheme is clear. It's very easy to say, well, I've been told that I will be a multi-millionaire in the next 1 year when I buy into this business. Make sure it is very clear. Make sure it is reachable. Make sure it is achievable. Make sure it is extremely clear to you. If it is not clear to you, don't do it. Why shouldn't you do it? Because you will get disillusioned halfway and you will drop the business. If the compensation is not clear to a simple mind, it will never get clearer tomorrow if it's not clear today. So ensure you really understand fully how much you're getting back, how quickly you're getting your investments returns back, like Eddie said earlier. And more than anything is a question, am I really getting anything back? Because you might think you're getting back and you're not really getting back. It is just that, in some schemes, you're just working for other people within the team. And it's only a portion of the money that ends up coming to you, and it means nothing when it comes. Be very clear on the compensation, because at the end of the day, you are in it for the income as well. Eddie?
Absolutely. Make sure that the compensation is very, very clear. One of the things I find about compensation is that the people promise you, when it comes to home-based business, they promise you millions of pounds or millions of dollars, but what they do not emphasize is the amount of work you have to do to attain such level of income. The fact is, yes, it is possible make so much money from home-based businesses. But the fact also remains that there's a lot of work, because sometimes there's this myth that if it's home-based business, it must be simple to run. But being a home-based business, it's far from simple. And so ensure that the compensation is program is very clear, and also find out how much work needs to be done to attain certain level of income. All right. And so the next thing we want to talk about is the good training and development program. Make sure that there's a good training and development program in place for you, because we believe that a home-based business is a hybrid between full-time employment and a full-blown entrepreneur. And so make sure that there's a good training and development program, because at the end of the day, you will be your HR manager, you will be your managing director, you will be your senior manager, and so you will have to manage yourself, you have to be responsible for your own development. So make sure that your proposed home-based business has good training and development program attached to it. When we talk about good training and development, we're not just talking about product training. So that will include product training, marketing training, sales training, leadership training, management training. So make sure it's all built in, and look for all these things before you decide which home-based business to go for. Very true. In addition to that, just to add to that, is the whole issue of team and team building within the training and development. I've come to realize that successful home-based businesses have very good training and development and very well established teams as well. It helps a lot to know that you're not alone. When you're facing challenges in the business, it helps also to know that other people have gone through what you're going through, and that they came out of it and they got better at it, and they could stick to it all the way till the end. So it helps a lot to have, like Eddie mentioned earlier, all this training, all this development plan, and a very good team to work with. Correct. Now, lastly, we want to talk about, we're looking at 12 things to consider in choosing a home-based business. We said, number one, make sure it's a good company professionally and ethically. Number two, make sure it's the ideals of the company fits your own personal ideals. Number three, make sure the financial benefit is worth the trouble. Number four, make sure there's returns on investment, and it's a quick return on investment. Also, make sure you understand the break-even point of that particular business. Number five, make sure the fees to join is clear. In other words, ensure that there is no hidden charges. Number six, find out the lasting power of the business. Find out how long they have been going on. Look at the executive directors and look at the owners of the business. Number seven, look at their reputation with customers. Number eight, look at the product used. Make sure it's something that you can use and something that you can recommend to your friends and family. Number nine, am I correct? Number nine, you are. The systems in place. Ensure the systems in place are very robust in terms of their databases, all IT infrastructure supporting you in your home-based business. And what number again is that? Number 10, ensure the compensation is clear. The compensation program is clear. Number 11, ensure there is good training and development program. And lastly, ensure that the home business fits your personality. There are usually 4 different types of personality. We won't have the time to go into that now, but in subsequent programs, we're going to be looking at the different types of personalities. We're going to be looking at, are you very good at giving presentation, or are you the kind of person who is very shy in public, and so you would rather do telephone only, or are you the kind of person who can stand before an audience? And so we want to look at different personality types. So make sure that your home-based business fits the kind of person that you are. Yeah. For a successful home-based business, information is very important. 2 things: you choose a good and effective program for yourself. Number 2, you also choose a business that fits your person. So we've given you information today. We've given you all you require in order to sit down and choose which business to go for. So want to make sure that you do something with the information. Don't just take it and sit on it, but do something about it. Go ahead, research, and ask yourself all these 12 questions. And if you can answer them, then go for your business. Now, that is all we can take on this program. That's what we can give on this program. Once again, my name is Eddie, and my co-presenter, Bola, is, we wish you all the best today. If you want to send us any email or you want us to answer any of your questions, email us at eddie@eddieandbola.com. That is eddie@eddieandbola.com. Good evening and have a great time.
Thank you.